In 2018, over 200,000 used vehicles were imported into Nigeria. Over 161,000 imported to Libya. And then following closely is Tanzania. What is happening now? Used vehicles.
Wait. I must say, first of all, impressive stats. Impressive stats for a globally perceived dumping ground called Africa. Dumping ground because its people have refused and are negligent of the fact that they can use their own resources to produce these things for themselves.
A creative mind is a fertile land for growth.
I really have a lot of things I want to unpack and pack and scatter. But before then, hello guys. You're welcome to the Illuminate African podcast. And per the usual, I'm your host, Kudirat. And with me is...
Yeah, good day everybody. This is Mr. Uchu Williams, your go-to young technocrat who is interested and very focused on rejuvenating the African continent through industrialization.
What do you think about these stats?
Those are impressive numbers. You know, Africa is a continent that is globally perceived as a dumping ground. Dumping ground for cars, used electronics.
Everything used.
Stored food. Food have been stored in reserves for a long time.
We even made a song for Benda Sele. Do you remember that song?
Not even in terms of deprecated educational curriculum. Africa is seen as the place where the world has gone before, and then they try to catch up. So they dump their waste, they dump their shit on us.
Sincerely
very annoying.
Speaking, it's a mindset thing.
Of course it has to be.
It's a mindset thing. And guys, today we're talking about mentality shifts.
I would like to say something. If everyone keeps dumping something in your face, it means you're open to it. Exactly. And these guys, they have seen that, okay, you're so open to collecting our shit, so why don't we send it to you?
And these people, do you know, these foreigners, right? These people who bring these things to us that we embrace, we embrace it like it's luxury. We embrace it like, oh, finally we belong. And it is exactly that mindset that makes them bring those substandard things to us. Do you know, over 200,000? The exact figure is 238,700. Yo, that is an outrageous.
Don't make it look so painful when you call the exact figure. It's already painful.
And we have a vehicle producing company in Africa.
In Nigeria, in Ghana, in Morocco, in Tunisia, we have vehicle product, the vehicles are produced in over 10 African countries.
And this is not something that we cannot, because I just use vehicles as an example, right? There are tons of goods that we import that I feel like is not necessary. And when you really take a step back to look at this, the driving force behind it is, I want to rock something foreign. I will only feel that I'm living a standard life if it is not made in Nigeria.
You know, the African man, he seems to love and believe a foreign produced good more than a locally produced one. Now, that's a mentality, this thing. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, let's address it from this other perspective. You know, Africa has a high population. Mm-hmm. With high population comes high demand. Mm-hmm. High need to consume, high need for products. Mm-hmm. If one person uses this thing today, a whole lot of others want to use the same thing. You know? Yeah. And now, when you have such high consumption traits, high consumption appetite, and then it needs to be foiled by something. Mm-hmm. And then, what do? This is a systematic change which has been going on for years and is present in every industry. And I keep asking myself, when is it going to stop? A production value chain, it starts from raw materials to finished products. Mm-hmm. Where are the raw materials? In Africa. In abundance. In Africa.
But we end up with the used.
Where are the finished products? Still sent back to Africa.
Used after they have been used. Please, can you say it?
Africa is the biggest. If you look at the top 10 imported commodities into Africa, automobiles, automobile spare parts, IT, petrochemicals,
I agree,
pharmaceuticals. These are 5 of the highly most imported. These are 5 of the highly
and essential products that you need. Do you know one thing?
For an everyday life, these things are needed.
Do you know one thing that a particular continent, right, has me hooked on? The fact that they are very big on developing homegrown products. You see Asia, they are very big on consuming what they produce. And now, how can you sit down to say you want to export certain things over there when you know that even when you watch their movies, right, they prioritize homegrown, like consuming homegrown products as opposed to us here in. I'm not saying that they don't consume, those high-end products as well, but you see their gadgets, like just really basic things that, would keep the economy in check, they produce. And you see how they are always big about products made around there. But it is very different for us. How can an entire continent have that mindset of we will only eat and eat and eat and take and take and take?
Someone who wants to keep consuming, it lacks the mentality to produce. It lacks the mentality to produce. Production and consumption, these are the two ends of an economic cycle. Something must be produced and something must be consumed. And then, to think of it, that Africa has an abundance of everything needed for production. Fertile soil, vibrant young population, abundance of mineral resources, talents, human talents, very unique climates, blessed climates that can produce all year round. Not in Europe where sometimes, and America where sometimes you have a winter where production has to halt. We have all these things, but yet still, for someone not to know that he has these things and he can use them to produce, one thing comes into question: his mentality. Why is he not able to know that he can do this thing for himself? Why has he been brainwashed, or why is he made to believe that he must give at every time, he must send his local resources, which are so precious and given to, like, in abundance, to someone to develop for him and then to give it back to him? In all industries, petroleum, agriculture, textile, Africa is the starter of the production chain.
Of course, because the raw materials are sourced here.
They're sourced here. Most of them are sourced here, and a whole lot of them again are sourced in South America. That's Brazil. We refer to those ones as African distant cousins.
I think in this particular case, I agree with you when you said, even though not the exact term you used education, but I'm going to say ignorance. I think ignorance about the fact that we have these things.
Is the ignorance not intentional?
Is it really intentional?
It is.
When even the curriculum that we are using is brought from there, who is really shedding? Let me tell you something. A few people who understand what wealth creation, production, and all of those things is, right? They find out by consuming certain kind of content. Now, the average African does not like consuming those kind of things. We are very big on entertainment, and that is why that is our biggest export. Do you understand? And you know the funny thing, even that entertainment lifestyle, to still fund it, you need to import certain things to be able to really export your biggest export. Is that not crazy? Now, because of your mindset, right? They have conditioned you to feel like whatever things you do at home is not standard enough. I promise you, the average person, right, would rather go and buy that thing from outside to show it as a flex, to say, me, I don't do local. It's not a flex. I keep saying it.
Some people don't eat local, they only eat foreign.
It's not a flex. It just goes to show that your mindset is very poor.
Weak mentality and very ignorant.
Very ignorant. Now, I am not saying that.
I'm so sad that majority of the African population are like that.
Now, I'm saying this and I sound petty huge. Everybody's going to say, Kudi is angry again. But it is from my personal experience, right? This thing is a personal pain. You enter like normal social settings, and the average, by Nigeria, right? The average Nigeria doesn't think anything produced in Nigeria is standard enough.
I will give you an example that I noticed, like on the road. I was walking on the road and a woman was selling bottled water. And then she was trying to advertise to draw markets for the bottle. She was like, buy your bottled water, buy your bottled water. American standard. I don't understand. This bottled water. Why do you have to advertise it with American standard? This bottled water can be made anywhere in the world. Why would you have to? If you because she knows that if she says American standard, people tend to trust it more.
Yes.
And so why is it like that? I've said first of all, it's ignorance, and I said the ignorance is intentional. For example, if I give you Nigerian currency, 1,000 naira, and then you don't know that you have 1,000 naira.
Yes.
And then you go to somewhere to spend the notes, and you can afford something of 1,000 naira. However, you give them that 1,000 naira to give you something worth 500 naira, and you leave without collecting the change. That's ignorance.
Of course.
Whose fault is it? It's you. It's intentional, because you should know that this thing that I have.
What if they have never seen 1,000 naira before?
That's not the case here. That's not the case here.
It's possible they've never seen 1,000 naira
That's
before.
not the case here.
That is what I am saying. That's what I said to you. I don't entirely agree that it is lack of education, because education in this case would mean Western education, which is not even curated to really meet the average African child's need. Right? I understand that our schools and crèche and all of that were doing a great job.
Okay.
But my question is, in fact, I recently watched a TikTok video, right? And the mom was playing one Igbo nursery rhyme, and the baby was seriously shedding tears. The baby was seriously shedding tears until they started playing Baby Shark do do do, and she started smiling.
That baby should be made to listen to Igbo poems for
That's what I'm saying. Now, kudos to that mom, and kudos to all the moms that are, and all the parents that are trying to make their kids consume. Now, that is what I call real African education. Do you see when we're talking about mindset, it starts from the very beginning. Do you understand? Where the average person will think that because your English is not correct, then you are not a great communicator, because you are not using certain terms. I get it. It's an official language, right? But there was a time where our news outlets, you'd have NTADs. I don't know if they still do it, right? They communicate, they share. You are part of the problem. You see, these are the issues.
Low quality. But we still watch
you are saying it's low quality.
But we still watch Nigerian. We still watch Nigerian television. NTA is run by the government.
You see,
low quality stuff. It's run by the government.
Every time Otu is part of the problem. I don't know why. You are part of the problem. You see, that is the issue. You are hearing him say is low quality. Do you understand?
You could get blind for watching that.
It's not even a function of going blind for watching that. That is the issue.
They can do better.
The average, exactly. That is why we import over 200,000 used vehicles, because you think it's low quality. Do you understand the mindset I'm talking about? It's the same case. It's the same case.
In Africa.
It is the same case. Do you understand? It's the same case.
Make me understand that.
Okay, now, you said, right, that you cannot consume the content on NTA because
you could get
the
blind,
visual quality is low. And I said,
we eat so much vitamins and fruits to
issues.
Get clear eyesight.
In fact, only recently did we start watching Nigerian-made movies. Because why? They had gone ahead, like certain individuals.
Has been there before now.
Relax now. Because certain individuals had taken a step back, looked at why people consume all those movies, and they decided, what, we are going to up our production quality game. And I promise you, currently, there are thousands of Nigerians who are putting out quality products in terms of clothing, in terms of whatever, who are putting out quality products, who have taken out their time to be like, okay, this is it. We will do it in the best quality possible and put it out there. And people still have something to say. Somebody recently launched the iPad on X. There were still feedback saying that it was substandard, it was this, it was that, it was that, and everything. Most people who genuinely gave their insights shared that no, this person really outdid themselves. Do you understand? Because there was this movement, clearing the pad. It was a very beautiful thing to see. People still came to try to destroy that whole thing because it's made in Nigeria. Why? It's not always killing.
Trust.
I said mentality.
Lack of trust.
It's something
and that lack of trust stems from a weak mindset.
Do you know that?
That you think that what is produced by your brother cannot be good. It's not usable. So you prefer to keep the world running the whole globalized standard of keeping importing.
Yes, here's that I think. Right? Do you know these days I deliberately look out for African made products. I'm not joking. Apart from like
why?
Because I know the type of work that I do. In case you guys don't know, I'm a brand and business developer. I'm a brand strategist, right? So we are the ones that package it, put it well. And I know what I tell my client. I know the kind of work that And whatever. We're working on it. We're putting them out there.
Of course.
We're putting them out there, really.
Kudos.
And I know the quality of work that these people put into their products. Do you understand? Most times they be like, no, let's not target Nigerians. Let's make it Nigeria. Let's really package it well. But let's not target Africans. Let's not target Africans in Africa. Let's target Africans in the diaspora, because they tend to consume more African goods than Africans in Africa.
Of course.
Because you have all those are relatives who live abroad. They're always like, oh, please, can you bring Gary?
When they go abroad, they start missing it.
Can you bring this? Can you bring that? Then they begin to understand the quality of what we have here. But you are here. You are saying that, hey, please, this rice is not long enough. It's supposed to be made in India. And you are here telling me that you don't watch. In fact, we need to hold a separate episode and dissect how, maybe the topic would be how or two is the problem that he's talking about.
No. Those are two different scenarios. The scenario I painted was from the NTA. Now, look at something. Let me show you.
It's the same thing. Mindset.
No.
Something in you is telling you that you will lose brain cells.
I'm going to paint a different picture for you.
Why not send NTA a review and a report and tell them how nonsense?
We have done that a long time. It's run by the government. Negligence.
Show me the review you've ever sent to them.
Let me show you something. Let me show you a bigger picture. One of Africa's biggest exports is entertainment, music, Nollywood. That's one of Africa's biggest.
Entertainment is Africa's biggest exports.
Good. Now, let me show you. The quality was not so good before, but there was content. Aki and Popo, some local music.
There is content in NTA now.
No, wait. I will show you the migration. Africa's movie industry before was so local, but funny, and there was content. Super Story, Papa Ajasco, all in this content, very dope, you know. But
so
what has happened? No. But what has happened? Run by the private sector, right? What has happened? You saw the transformation. You saw the transformation from that old in this branding. It happened. It went on till we started having more of African films on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, and then Nollywood started entering the cinemas abroad. Music also started from the days of Style Plus, Mode 9, and you saw it graduated. See, now we have Burna Boy Rema topping charts on Spotify. You could see the progression. That shows you that what you produce locally, when you accept it, when you consume it, that is the only way it can be catalyzed, like globally.
But do you know, prior to now?
But that is that. But see where MTA JFAS accepted before, but never made it. No branding and development came forward. If you look at the indigenous TV stations, Arise, channels, everybody consumes that. That's our local.
Of course. I use NTA to show you that everybody has the average Nigerian has that mindset of it's not good enough. I understand that. Yes, I think because of that.
Yes, of course. NTA was
prior to channels and Arise, and it was NTA.
Yes.
Right, and then I understand that channels and Arise is a very huge development from what we used to have before, and kudos to
picture quality, content quality. Yes, of course,
it is great. But I deliberately use that NTA to show you that the average Nigerian, right, is very visual. The average African is very visual. So rather than complain and saying that, that's how solutions are built. Do you understand? You have seen, okay, the reason I am not consuming this product is because it is low quality. So what did you do about it?
I've told you, one of the reasons why you are failing to see the NTA transfer is because it's held back by the government. Anything the government has a hold on.
Should you say I should leave the government alone?
You cannot hold the government here. Just let them go. Let's pretend that.
See, let me tell you something. The reason I keep saying you cannot just say let the government go.
It's run by the government. What are you going to do to the government?
Because they are put there for a reason, right?
Accountability.
To administer to the needs of the nation. Like, we're on survival mode in Africa. Don't you understand?
Okay, let me paint Africa's picture for you now. For people who are not from this continent, what they get to see from Africa now is a reduction in purchasing power. Why has the purchasing power reduced? Over dependence on foreign products.
That's what we are.
Lack of innovation, lack of local production, and a huge lack of mentality to understand that these things
I
if done
knew
here.
I knew you were going to come to that lack of local production, and that is why I used that example. How do you encourage people to produce locally if you are always going to say it's substandard? Okay, it's substandard. Where do these people go to seek this fund? You go and seek for funds to say, oh, I need to invest a certain amount of, and who still invests? Who are your angel investors? Who are your VC investors? Still these people. When do we break free from these shackles?
Let me paint a picture. Let's look at Nigeria's commercial sector. The production of small petty goods. Do you know that most of the middle scale products that are produced in Nigeria are produced in Aba? Fan, clothes, most of those.
They have it on lockdown.
They have it. That place is Nigeria's commercial hub. But do you know what happens there? When they produce those things, they package them as made in China, package them as made in America. Why is it easier for it to sell that way than when they put made in Nigeria?
Oh, but she's making me say mindset more than 500 times. Guys, mindset. If you've ever sat down and looked at, you went out and you looked at what somebody is wearing and being like, oh, you have rated somebody like that, you are the problem. Because how do you encourage people? Do you understand what I'm saying? People who you see.
Would you say social media has played a huge part in taking away a critical thinking mentality?
Authenticity. Do you know one thing that I am big about? Today I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and then they sent me something and they were like, just copy this person. Just copy this person's strategy. I said, I cannot copy. I am a brand developer. I can never copy somebody's strategy. I say, yes, you can gain insight, use them. Oh, this is a mood board. Let's use this person as a mood board. Let's do this. But I can never copy because your brand and their brand is very different. The value you are proposing and the value they are proposing is very different, even though you are selling the same thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So yes, social media has been, in as much as entertainment has been our biggest export, you know there is a cause and effect type of thing, right? Now, here is the problem. This entertainment became our biggest export because there was really nothing much to do internally if you really look at it. If you look at 2007, the 90s and the rest, it was majorly civil service, right? And to get into that space, you needed to be a graduate, read book, do a lot of,
entertainment is not an informal sector.
Yeah, I get it. But the driving force into those places was as a result of unemployment, if I may say. Yes, a few of them did it for passion. A few founding members did it for passion. Do you understand? But I promise you, prior to now, if you can tell your parents, I want to be a singer, in fact, especially now that everybody is doing podcasts, including me and you. Do you understand? If you can't tell them prior to now, they'll say you're unserious. Let's not play. There's been a tremendous shift in how entertainment is being viewed in Nigeria, in Africa generally. Okay. Now, hold on. This is the cause and effect that I'm talking about. These people got into this space because there was not enough, funding to produce locally and all of that. And you say, you know what? We're going to make ourselves happy. We're going to laugh. Now, so people to sell that as well, they need to present themselves in a certain type of way because they know that's how you're going to watch it. You remember how G-Mike was always coming from abroad?
Of course.
He was always, in fact, he's always coming from abroad in all his movies. I'm trying to make you see the root cause of this problem. Do you understand? Now, you watch that and you're like, oh, G-Mike has an American accent. Oh my goodness, this is coming. This is. Oh, I want to travel. Exposure is great. But like I said, there is always the pros and the cons. Right? Now, the musician followed suit. They'll dress a certain type of way. They'll do this. And now the person is this. The young people are saying, see that Richard Mille that Davido was working in that. That is what I want to rock now. Richard Mille to rescue. So even if you come and say the watch that you are really taking your time out to produce to that boy, and you can assure the quality of that product, he's not going to buy it because he wants to rock Richard Mille. Why? Because it's been portrayed a certain type of way in a certain content that he has consumed. And now those people portrayed it that way because they know that is how you are going to consume it. Okay. Do you see how we are moving in circles?
Let's begin to channel the conversation to something. We all know, and we have both accepted.
You are channeling it away from the major issue and channeling something.
The first problem, the lack of production from Africa, is due to a weak mentality. They believe that it is not good enough.
Weak mentality that was heavily enabled by the government.
By the government,
Please let people
by
that need
lack
to
of
take
education,
blame, take blame. Let
by
them
lack
take
of
blame.
education, by lack of common sense. Some things are common sense. If an African man had common sense from the beginning, he wouldn't sell his brother for a mirror.
If you no get money, they kill Nigeria. You were the one that said it the last time. You were the one that said it. Don't, if you, I will see, in case I introduce a new co-host, you must be
Let's begin to channel the conversation so that people can get, okay, the rant is there, let people begin to see everybody understands that there is lack of production here.
See, I just don't like the fact that you try to put it out there as if the people are seated doing nothing. They are not, though. Oh yeah, way forward then, because you say
we need to shed light. I understand. We don't have enough production. All the things, and if you look at it on a broader scale, going forward, most of the things, the top 5 imports into Africa can be produced locally. Enough of querying those who are not doing anything. Or
you started the query, and I told you why.
Enough of that. We have seen that. Going forward, what do we need to do? I'm asking you now. What do we need to begin to do to ensure that we can begin to produce? We already produce automobile. We have pharmaceuticals. If I will ask you in your own way, what do you say is the way forward?
Okay, per the usual, I'm always going to answer everything from, being in the market, right? Makes you understand consumer behavior. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course I do.
Right? So, for those of us who are currently putting a lot of effort, right, to build in Africa, for Africa and the world, to ensure we have products that we can consume confidently. Notice how I use the word confidently, right? There are certain things that you need to do. I used entertainment as an example earlier, and Ochu said something along the lines of how individuals took a step back to really look at why our movies are not selling, and they improved on it, right? So this brings me to the actual way forward, right? If you are currently on a producer, right, please ensure, apart from your branding, your packaging, the quality also is top notch.
Invest in quality.
Invest in your brand. When I mean quality, I mean all round quality. Because the truth of the matter is, in as much as I am trying to say, importing from these places, because the average person, there is a certain kind of service you get from these foreign people that we invest from that makes you want to go back and invest. So please replicate that experience. Do you understand? Because consumption is an experience.
See, I would like to put it in such a way like this. You have to buy back the trust.
Exactly.
Because the mentality is gone now.
It's gone already.
It's gone already. And you can't do anything about that.
It's gone.
You have to, someone to see something made in Nigeria, and then another thing coming from abroad and be like, okay, I prefer this one. He needs to begin to trust this one. He needs to begin to enjoy using this one.
That's what I'm saying.
The producers, the manufacturers of easy products, you have to buy back the trust.
Yes.
Promote and advertise whatever you are producing as the best.
And please do not promote mediocrity. Make sure, like I said all round, right?
Of course.
The quality of whatever service or products that you are putting out, please test it. Go to the normal, if you are somebody producing consumable goods like food and all of that, go to the appropriate bodies, right? Register with NAFDAC, do the things that because there are certain things the consumer check out for.
Yes.
The consumer check out for a few things,
He needs to earn trust from you.
Because it's a psychological thing. You're not there. Do you understand? Yeah. Because if you put out something substandard and we're trying to encourage people to build in Africa for Africa and also consume African-made goods, and then you put out something substandard and somebody consumes it and they're like, nah, so they do. We're trying to kill that. And that is why I was trying really hard to say, well done to those people that are doing it already. They are doing a great job. Do you get? And also make sure it is, I know the cost of producing in Africa right now is not exactly cheap, right?
No. Don't say it's not exactly cheap. People perceive it to be expensive. When you perceive a problem, anytime you meet a problem, what do? You innovate something smarter.
Yeah, because
you innovate. There is always, anytime for an entrepreneur for somebody in production, for someone in production, anytime he meets a blockade, it's always seen as an opportunity to do it in a different way.
Yeah. So please make sure that your goods are consumable, your services are top notch, package it well, and please put it out there. If you have something great, right, and you hide it in your room, or only people in your family or your WhatsApp group knows, you are limiting your markets.
Please produce more. The purchasing power is gone. Innovate faster. Produce locally made stuff from the resources we have. If you need education, knowledge, a more refined process, we have an abundance of natural resources. Try it out. Give people something that they can afford, that is quality enough. Tough times, economic disasters, economic breakups, they always bring about innovative products. If you look at Uber and they became popular during that COVID time.
Yes.
You understand? Because people didn't want to be sticking inside buses anymore. There's always a reason why something goes further. In Nigeria, the POS operators, they are widespread now everywhere. There was one thing that pushed them further. The ban by President Buhari during the election time that says no more physical business. That ban was tough. But what did he do? He pushed the widespread adoption of POS, and now everybody's complaining.
Was he a ban or Naira? Because when they were saying you can't use the old Naira.
You can't, the ban on the old currency.
Naira,
And now, what happened? POS is now like a pandemic. Now Nigerians are complaining there's too much. You understand? So, anytime for someone in production, you have to be critical thinking. You have to innovate. So that is okay. That we have said that. Now, I would also like to talk about something else. Industrialization. One of the reasons for the high importation, we've talked about like poor mentality. Another one is the lack of industrialization. See, if you look at America's economy today, you look at China's economy today also, you will notice that most of their processes have been automated. Prior to the automation, it was manual. And then Africa, before you do automated robots, semiconductors, you must do manual. In the prehistoric times, early 19th centuries, when industrialization broke forth in America and Europe, you understand? It was physical process. Production was mainly a physical process. And let it be known, China came late to the scene. China came late to the manufacturing scene, but they are the world's leaders today. That's to show you that a mentality shift is critical. What did China do? They loved themselves. The government made them love themselves. The government told them that our population is too big. Nobody can satisfy us.
Do you know the process to that? You know that? You're saying it now like it was a one-day job. The government made them love themselves. Our government, I don't think they are trying to make us love ourselves anytime soon.
That's why we are Africa. We can do things a different way. Let the government go away. Please, leave the government.
I quite agree with you. Honestly, trust me, I'm not doing blood and fire with that one. What I am saying is, do you know why I was, really shedding light so much and trying to break it down? It's not because I'm trying to be like, well, like this because this is it. No. I was trying to make you understand how deep it has eaten. Do you get? Which is why I want to encourage anybody listening now, right? Put out that content that edifies us. Do you understand? Put it out there, shed light on it, because the truth of the matter
begin
is
to trust your process.
people really began to, because there was a time if you listen to Afrobeats, they'll say that you're not woke. You don't have good taste. But people took out their time to, change their mindset with what they put out. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's good. Please don't distract me again from industrialization. we are going past that now. We are talking about industrialization. Industrialization is needed to stop Africa from being a dumping ground. That is the key.
See, Williams,
that is the key.
I am not
and wait.
distracting you.
What do we need for industrialization? We have natural resources. What do we lack? Forward critical thinkers who want to innovate. People who will not look at situations and say, oh, the government did this, Okay, if you look at Nigeria now, there's a high rate of solar adoption. If the government provided electricity, that solar adoption would never have been like this. And what is solar adoption is needed for green energy to curb climate change. Difficulties produce beautiful solutions. In Nigeria today, once anybody springs up a building, a structure, they throw a borehole. That borehole technology is now rampant in everywhere in Nigeria. Why is it rampant? Because the government could not provide pipe-borne water. All the government water works and public water schemes, it all failed. So if you keep saying the government is holding us back, it's not true.
That means you're not listening to understand what I'm saying. You are listening to respond to what I'm saying. You keep saying,
you must direct your thought towards industrialization, not products anymore.
You keep saying, it has to be equal because we're living in an age where people are sensitized via content. Do you know the tons of content that go out in a day?
Of course I do.
You realize the tons of content that go out in a day. And I will tell you that the least consumed content are educational content. And you are trying to encourage people to, do certain things. That means you have to encourage people who have the knowledge that they need to put out something that they can consume so that their eyes will be open.
The producers will always be less than the consumers.
I am very much aware. It is not, people I'm talking to are producers. The people who see, if you are listening and you understand what I am saying and not listening to respond in your mind like Ochu is doing, you are a producer. Do you understand? If you have, I know industrialization, right? The average producer understands all of that. But there are things holding you back. Sure, you get. Let's go of that thing and put out that if you are a producer, be big on the quality of your product, down to your customer service, everything, and put a befitting price on it. Do you understand? That is it. You can continue with your industrialization.
Back to our industrialization mantra. We have the population to champion industrialization. We have the population for people to use their hands to create, to manufacture, to package.
Ochu, one quick question, and I think it's my turn today. I'm the person interfering. Last week it was you. One quick question. Can these people, let us say, you were telling me something earlier before we started recording about somebody who uses coconuts. Yeah, you are going to share that story, please.
Of course.
These raw materials that is making you want to share so much light on industrialization, how easy is it for Africans in Africa to source it? How is it very easy for Africans in Africa to source it?
Then they must begin to ask the right questions. The world's, I will use an example. Solar technology, electric vehicles, they are all based on battery. The battery technology, EVs, they are all based on battery. Sure you get. Now, lithium, the best batteries in the world now are made from lithium. Lithium is so hard to find in the world. But one of the largest deposits of lithium is in Africa. You see, people are not asking the correct questions.
How will they ask if they don't know? Do you not understand?
Why won't you know when you are facing what I'm saying is that we are facing this problem. So if you are not asking the question, then the mentality is not right.
That's what I am saying, because they have been conditioned. Well, I mentioned earlier that we're on survival mode, right?
Yes.
We've been imagine people conditioned to live on survival for so long. It is now. That's why I say, for everybody whether you're in entertainment, whether you are in whatever production industry you are in, thank you. Well done for the good work you have been doing. Do you understand? It is not everybody. See, people just, that consumer mindset, you're not just taking it away anytime soon. Do you get what I'm saying? You're not taking it away anytime soon. And that is why I would encourage people who are already doing it, network more, meet more like-minded people. Do you understand? Innovate more, meet more like-minded people. If you have, in fact, forget that we're always arguing here, right? One thing about Ochu is, if he notices a problem, he's going to talk about it for so long, and next thing he's going to do is, he's going to start looking for people who are already doing that thing, and next thing is, he's already calling. He can make 50,000 calls a day.
Because that's what we need.
Because, so as an example, you can adopt that style as well. Do you understand? When you go through a problem, I understand what Ochu is saying 100%. I understand you. But you have to also understand that there are certain people that will come across certain content. So you have to, make sure everybody lives with something. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let the producers pick their path and let the consumers pick theirs. You cannot just talk to edify only the producers, because what then does the consumer now learn? If you are telling us consume in Africa for Africa, if you are saying build in Africa for Africa and the world, you are indirectly saying that consume in Africa what is made in Africa. Do you understand? So you need them to also understand that while your country people are putting in their efforts into this, you need to realize that they put in enough effort as well, so it's not substandard. So when you come across a made in African product on the shelf, please buy it.
Pick it up.
Because we're in this industry, we know the amount of effort. And if you pick it up, you don't see certain
registration. You are forced to pick it up now because you can't even afford the foreign one.
Yes, and
you're
it's
forced
true.
to pick it up. You can't afford the foreign one.
It's true. No, what we're actually going through is a blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing in disguise.
For me, it's a blessing in disguise. I feel like it's a blessing in disguise because now you have all those your ideas, all those your products that you have been hiding under the shelf.
You have to bring it out now.
Now we will bring it out.
Because we can't afford those other ones anymore. We can't.
Please, if I ever get a review online and I got this app, I will come for that person. So please put out quality. This is an opportunity, right? This is not a crisis. Nigeria is not in crisis. Africa is not in crisis.
We're in an opportunity-laden phase.
Exactly. This is the phase that will really revolutionize us, right? Can I say that again before they laugh at me? Revolutionize
rejuvenate,
us.
revolutionize.
That will really revolutionize us, right?
The problems that we face now, the amount of knowledge that we have now, the exposure to the internet, it's all a blessing.
Yes.
And this is the point where that our population has to begin to show. So, for those in industrialization, I would just like to speak to two people. The innovators.
Yes.
The people who have the idea and they want to do something.
Yes.
Please begin to think of solutions that are outside the box. Things that succeed in Africa are not always documented. Yes. One of the most successful models in the world is the Igbo business model. The ability of an Igbo man to have different stores in different parts of the country is one of the most successful. But that business model cannot come from Harvard.
And let me tell you why we are not. I was telling somebody that the best way and the best process for a successful businessman to pass through is that Igbo system.
Is the Igbo business model.
Is that their system?
Igbo is not documented. It's not practiced anywhere else in the world.
In fact,
it's one of the most
I was even saying that anybody that is going to do masters in business or do any business related course in this school, they should be sent to Alaba International Market to do internship.
Anybody who is doing doing business courses in Harvard, and you want to build solutions in Africa, please, we have to write. We have to write to the board of Harvard.
Let me say,
be sending them to Alaba. Yes.
No,
for 1 year internship.
You cannot go to Harvard to say you want to.
They need to come to Alaba to see how things are really sold in this part of the world.
Most times, do you know, Africans complain that we don't have this, we don't have that. We do, but they are not aware.
Of course.
We have, but they are not aware. And at the end of the day, the reason they still will not rate it is because it is not one person that have come to say, I put so investor did this, now we have brought it to you. Let me tell you, the person that can really help you, produce what you need and tailor those solutions to really fit your real problem is somebody that really felt that pain. Do you understand?
It's
somebody that has felt it. Because I see a lot of startup founders providing solutions to problems they have not even faced. How do you want to produce? See, that's a talk for another day. You guys, it's been such.
But for today, please, for those of you with bright ideas,
there's just a lot.
For those of you who are, this is your opportunity. If you are someone who can think of a solution, you have everything you need.
Mm-hmm.
Look for smarter processes. There's green energy. You don't need to rely so much on electricity from the government now. There is solar. There are different ways to do this thing. Begin to innovate and bring forth a better process. And another category of people who are holding back Africa's industrialization is the funding people. The government, the investors, the rich uncles and aunties.
No, we'll talk about
the people
those.
who like.
Which one? What the rich uncles and aunties?
The people who prefer to hide money in real estate.
See, we're coming for.
Instead of developing factories, instead of springing up industries. How many days ago in Abuja? 753 plots.
Mm-hmm.
The EFCC refused to call the name. No problem.
See, that's
so that money that was used to do that. Okay, the rich uncles and the rich aunties, please. You are the first step to industrialization. The government is another step. Private investors from foreign investors are another step.
Please, if you are approaching investors, or even though they are a problem, please come correct. come with a
Show
solution.
them the problem and show them your unconventional method that will solve it.
Do research. I think it's Haystop right now that is currently coming up, right, for all of this research thing.
Yeah.
Please, if you want to reach out to Haystop, just Ochu's email is going to be linked to this. So just send, if your problem is proper research, if your problem is reaching out to these people in the grassroots sector to get real time and real life data. Do you know when you Google certain info about Africa online, the information is outdated.
Archaic.
So yes, if you want to, partner with Haystop on your research programs and all of that, just reach out to Ochu via his email and we will get that sorted, because I think the biggest problem is not actually understanding the problem we are solving.
Understanding the problem, not attacking it properly.
Yes.
It's a big problem.
Sometimes these startup founders have the idea, but I think the research is not in-depth enough, because it's the middle class they use mostly
Of course.
for what they do. But people who actually need these solutions that will really, give us that hike.
Let's even look at it this way. One of Africa's most successful companies, Paystack, Money Points. Do you know the founders of those companies are people who that payment issue pierced?
Yes.
These guys couldn't pay. That was why they found that solution. So you have to live through that problem.
The solution needs to be born from your personal
pain.
A personal pain.
That gives you all the desire you need to channel.
You'll be able to look into it critically. Again, if you are looking to, really get your research started, reach out to Haystop. And if you are really keen into, let's say you have a solution, right? Oh, I want to build in Africa for Africa, but I really do not know how to go about this. Again, the Lucid Africa email is going to be linked, so you can really, really, quickly drop your inquiries, reach out to Lucid Africa, and they will put you on how to get started in, really building goods that are meant for Africans, and Africans can also consume and be like, wow, I'm proud that this came out from Africa. That's all. So yes,
and
it's
put Africa on where it deserves to be. No. Before you begin to tell them that it's been a local, irrespective of whatever we're passing through, and we're trying to call the people's attention to it. Success stories are always important.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you.
They are always important. So when people begin to see that this guy in my local environment is solving a problem, he begins to believe.
Yes.
It's not only, we should not only promote failure. We should not only promote the bad side. Those little goods, when we put it forth, it goes a long way in catalyzing another person's interest and sparks that other person's innovation.
Yes.
I saw something, and I think we have to put it, it's going to be attached, to this, I think it should be attached to this podcast. There is this particular guy in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is facing serious climate change issues. Why? People are falling down trees so that they can cook. They are using their trees as coal, as source of energy.
Oh, yeah, that was the story I was trying to
say. So what is that causing? It's leading to massive deforestation. Erosion begin to tear up their land, because the trees, one of the big impact of it, they act as windbreakers, so that the soil gradient does not shift when there's a soup of wind. So people are falling down these trees. They are not planting new ones. Even if you plant new ones, it takes a long time to grow. Erosion is going to eat up. Climate change, those are problems. Do you know what this particular guy did? However he has done it, I don't know. But one of the most grown products in Sierra Leone is coconut. It's a snack. Just like how buns and akara is so popular in Nigeria. Plus, in the eastern part of Nigeria, there's this thing they call okpa. So popular. Those
national food.
Those local snacks, in Cote d'Ivoire, I don't know what they call it. I think it's acheke or something like that. So in Sierra Leone, coconuts is so, you can just see it anywhere on the road. Once this coconut is consumed, the husk is dumped off. It's waste already. This guy picked up coconut husk and made them to be fuel. Like, instead of you cutting down trees to use as fuel, firewood, charcoal to cook, he has turned coconut husks, something that has no use again, byproduct. He has turned it into fuel. So now you don't need to cut down trees again to cook. Just by taking your normal coconut, which you do regularly, you are now having the material also to cook. And also, people also use the coconut husk that's been turned to fuel for also shisha and relaxation purposes.
Yeah.
You understand? So he is turning the byproduct of one of the most consumed things that is seen as waste. He's turning it into fuel.
But I think a lot of people do a lot of things with coconuts. It's actually a versatile.
He's saving the climate, and then he's giving people fuel, and he's also helping to clear up waste. Very innovative. These are the kind of solutions I think we should be promoting.
Yeah, the coconut horse is actually very versatile.
It makes someone think outside of it, and it triggers you. You are beginning to ask yourself that, okay, if I cannot build houses, if the cost of building houses are increasing, can't I innovate? If the cement is too costly, can't I find another one? If this one is too costly, can't I find another one? You know, these sharp solutions is what will lead to our. This is what changes like civilizations.
Yeah.
Those little solutions. And also in Nigeria, you know, EVs now, they are so popular in the world. You know, Tesla, BYD, you know, so popular in China. China had like 40% or 60% adoption of EVs. Do you know that in Nigeria, there are makers of EVs?
Yeah.
Like, there are guys who make EVs. You know, even if we cannot be as fanciful as Europe, where they make the fine EVs and people driving them, can we begin to make those things for mass transit? What is that going to do? It's going to cut down the cost of transportation a whole lot. Make them for mass transit, make them for transmitting goods from the farm to the market. You know, those little innovations. Also, we have to also attach that video. You know, we have to begin to show people that there are positive-minded people, and these people, their positivity should be keyed into. This is the way to go to champions Africa's industrialization.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I totally agree
for
with
the first
you
time.
about you.
Thank you so much.
I have agreed with you up to 4 times. What do you mean? I've agreed with you. But the way I see it is, I understand that the journey to, you know, starting innovation is not a very, you know, it's not a linear one. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that is why I need to share those things as well.
Of course.
Right? That is why I've also said, if you have these solutions, this, you know, problem you have been looking at and you're looking to partner with, you know, somebody to bring these ideas to life, like I said, send that email to lucidafrica.com, right? And also, in terms of research, if you've also, I have this funding, but my issue is I'm not really well acquainted with the, you know, audience I want to provide this solution for, reach out to Taste Hubs, send Ochu an email, and you will get a swift response. And if you have gotten this research done and you have your funding and you have reached out to Little Africa and you want to keep going, please reach out to Kodirat. Thank you.
It's good we have positive people like Kodirat on the continent.
Yes, please reach out to me. I'm also going to drop my email as well. I have a few hours on Wednesday to, you know, consult and all of that good
Begin
stuff.
to build your future with Kodirat.
Yes, please send that email as well. And we will, let us ensure to deliberately, shifting your mindset is a deliberate act, right? It means you have to practice it often. You have to be deaf to certain things, you know, that naturally make you say, oh no, you know what, I'm not doing it again. So it's a practice, it's very intentional.
Industrialization is intentional.
In fact, it's an evangelism. Do you understand? It's an evangelism. That change of mindset, you discover it, you share with the next person, Gradually, we will sensitize. Why can I not talk today? Why am I struggling with the teeth?
Please sensitize them. That's what she's trying to say.
Gradually, we will sensitize Africa, and we will build products for us, product that had us in mind, and we will scale. See you next time, guys. Bye.